Hello, and welcome back to Chair Yoga Plus. Today, together, we're going to work on firming up our bodies. There are many ways that you can do this. You could practice yoga, you could lift weights, you could go for walks, lots of things that you could do that will firm up your body. But in yoga, one of the things that we can do is to put just a little bit more effort in what we're doing, and to do some movements within the poses. And so today, I invite you to join me for firming up. You'll notice on my side here, I have some blocks and some very light weights. I don't often use weights in yoga, but you can. And what you do is you just place a weight on a part of your body and then work out against that weight. So with or without a weight, you could just use your hand pressing down and at the same time lifting up, creating some resistance. So join me. I'm going to start with a weight. Sit tall. Roll your shoulders down your back. And just pause for a moment. Check in with your body. Check in with your surroundings. Make sure that the dog or the cat are not in your way today as we practice firming up. So let's start with the legs. We'll place a weight or, as I said before, a hand on the thigh, and you push down as you lift up, creating resistance. Otherwise, you hold something there. It can be something very light. I think these are 2-pound weights here, very light. And we lift against that resistance. Adding a little more resistance will help us firm up. Let's switch it over to the other leg. Lift and lower. I'm just holding the weight there. And remember, you don't need the weight. You can press down with the hand. And we'll do a little bit of that in a moment also. And rest there. Now, taking the weight in front of us, sit a little taller and keep your elbows close to your body and just turn to one side and back to center. Turn to the other side and back. Exhale as you turn. Inhale when you come forward. Taking your time and holding something in your hands. And then we'll pause. Now we'll take that something, and it could just be your hands pressing together, or it could be that light weight or block. We're going to keep the gaze forward, but we're going to turn in the ribs, moving the object over to the side and back. Keep your eyes forward, turn again. Notice how the effort in your twisting has changed. And it's this kind of focus and awareness of the change in what you do that's going to help firm us up today. One more on each side. And then come back to center. Have the weight in your lap. We'll just lift it up to our chest or towards our shoulders. Notice my arms are in nice and tight. Keeping the arms close to the body protects the joints. Let's do a few more. Down and up. Just breathe naturally here. Remember, we're practicing yoga. And now we're going to hold the weight over that one thigh. We're going to lift the leg up towards the weight and push the foot out. And as we do, let's see how far we can push that weight out. Now again, you might not be using a weight, you might be just using your hands. So we lift it up, and then the leg extends as the arms extend, and we bring it back. The weight is not touching the leg here. We're just holding it above it, hovering the weight. Let's do one more on this side. And then pause and just rest. Notice. Always take that moment for the rebound. Let's try it on the other side. Hover the weight, elbows bent. Lift the leg and straighten it, and then as far as you can, push that weight forward, bring it back, and lower the foot back down. Lift, push, in and down. And if you only push a little, that's okay. Remember, a little today, a little tomorrow, it all adds up. Couple more. Taking your time. And then down. So many of these movements that I'm doing today are things that we've already done in yoga, but now we're using the weight. Very nice. So I'm going to put the weight down, stepping to the side and placing it down. I'm going to grab one of my blocks. My blocks are very light, so it doesn't seem like that's going to add a lot of resistance. But what happens is if we extend the block away from the body, bingo, there's your resistance. And then we bring it back. So grab something. Can be a newspaper, can be a very light block like I have here. And we'll sit tall. I would not recommend the weight here just yet. Let's build some muscle first. So we extend it out and we bring it back. Extend it out and back. Now, one of the ways that we build our firmness in our body in yoga is to hold a pose. So let's hold it out there for a count of 4, 3, 2, and bring it in. And just rest and notice one shoulder to the other, one upper arm to the other, maybe your wrist. And let's do it on the other side. Hold the block, out and in. Just see how that feels. Now something very light here. On this one, sit tall. Let's hold it out there for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's bring it back and in. And rest. Noticing any change that you feel in your body. And now I'm going to turn sideways so you can see this next one. We're going to take this object, a block, a newspaper, and we're going to take it up overhead. Now, you might be able to straighten your arms. If not, a slight bend in the arms is okay. You're going to firmly hold on to this, and you're just going to drop it over your head and back and up. So go where you can with this. We're pushing this very light resistance away from the body. As we did when we took it out to the side, now we're taking it up and overhead. And then bring it back down in front of you. We can even use this object, this very light object, with the legs. So if you have a block or a ball or something very light, lift one leg, push it out towards your toes, bring it back and down. We did this with the weights. It might be easier for you with the block. One more on this side, lift and push, in and down. Other side, sit tall. Two more, if you can. And you might just be watching today, you might think, what is this? Why are we using props? We're adding resistance. You can also add resistance with just your effort. Remember that. So you can use a prop. It kind of helps us. It reminds us what we're doing. We're adding resistance. So we're going to take this block in front of us. We're going to make a circle. Oh, about the size of a beach ball. Notice what's happening in your shoulders. And you can take it as high or keep it as low as you want. One more all the way around. And rest. Take a breath, sit tall. Keep your posture nice and tall, and let's go in the other direction. Start out small, that small beach ball. Maybe that's where you go today. I'm just showing other ways how you can add resistance just by lifting something very, very light above your head. And then it adds that little bit more resistance. Adding resistance is going to help firm us up. Very good. I'm going to place that block behind me now, just as a reminder to keep the spine long. We want to breathe up from the tailbone, through the back, neck, all the way up to the crown of the head. And then we're going to take the arms into goalposts, and we're going to lift one knee and bring the elbow close to that knee and down. So stay on the same side. It's going to feel very different today because we got a block behind us, holding us against the chair. So our elbow does not necessarily reach that knee. Try it on the other side. Just feel as you lift, you're really working, lifting the leg. There's your resistance, right? I also have sneakers on today. Many times, many times, I practice in my bare feet. But when I'm trying to add resistance in chair yoga, let's squeeze the elbows, just the elbows forward and back. I can wear sneakers. And they're rather light, but you'd be surprised when we take them and put them on our feet, they add a little resistance. So you might try just that. And if you're not wearing your sneakers, maybe you could hold your sneaker, right? That's nice and light and adding some resistance. And now our arms are adding the resistance here. So we pull them down towards our ribs and we lift them back out to the side. Now here's where I'm not holding anything. There's nothing giving me greater resistance except my own body. So I want to make an effort to make a big movement and lift the ribs as I bring the elbows in and release them as they go out. Give it a try. Taking it just a little bit further today to build and firm up the body, right? Sure. Okay, I'm going to remove that block now and place it off to the side. And I'm going to turn in one direction on my chair, one foot on the side of the chair and the other foot back. Now, holding on to that resistance again, block, sneaker, whatever, just not the weight, unless it's about 1 pound. You don't want too much weight here. We're going to push this arm out. It's holding something, right? And we lean forward a little bit, support yourself on the opposite thigh, and then we bring it back. Now this is very similar to maybe taking a plate and placing it on the counter. Plate doesn't seem to weigh too much, but it does require a little bit more muscle strength to reach it out and place it down. Let's try it one more time. And as I said before, holding the pose in yoga creates its own resistance. I could hold the block out there, or I can just hold my hand out there, reaching a little further, taking my gaze off beyond the fingertips here, and then bring it in. So we're going to circle that arm now, up and over. And let's reverse it in the other direction. And this is something we often do in our chair yoga practices, just using our own body weight here. And bring it down. Step the outside foot in first, pivot in your chair, and we'll go in the other direction now. So we step out. Notice I picked up the block again. You don't need it, but if you have one and you want to give it a try, here we go. We reach out and we bring it back. So it's just like taking a plate, putting it on a counter. Of course, we wouldn't be pushing our other leg back when we do that. But that's okay. We're trying to get a good stretch as well as strengthening our bodies here today. And then put the block down, take the hand out, and hold. Keep your gaze upward. And even here, that arm is adding some resistance to the back muscles. Draw your core in to hold you here. Support yourself with the other hand. Take a couple more breaths here. And then we'll bring that hand in and bring the knee in a little and circle. And here, the arm is the resistance, and we're working the back muscles and the shoulder muscles. Let's reverse that. And I think the slower you go, the more resistance that arm is giving you. And we bring it down. So because we used our shoulders and our arms so much, let's roll them. Let's release the tension here. And we'll roll them back and down. I'm going to stand for a couple more demonstrations for you of how you can build resistance. You can stay in the chair. You can rewind this or take it back to the beginning and do those upper body work. You can repeat the first part of this video, or you could join me standing now. So I always like to have my chair off to the side and available for balance, right? So we always have it right there for us. I have my block. I'm going to start out with my weight though. So that very light weight, 2 pounds, hand on the chair, I'm going to press it into my thigh and lift my leg out to the side, adding resistance. And again, if you don't want to use the weight, you could just press your hand into the thigh as you're trying to lift it. It's as if your hand is trying to prevent the leg from going out to the side. Let's do 4 more here. Holding that weight steady, just allowing it to give you a little more resistance. And then we could do the same for the front part of the leg. We lift up. Remember, again, you could just press the hand into the thigh and give it a little resistance, trying to push it back down as it lifts up. 1 more. And then down. Let's do the other side. I'm going to turn to the side here a little bit so you can see I'm pressing in, holding it there, and just lifting the leg to where I can, adding the resistance, and again, hand on the other chair here to steady our bodies, keeping the spine nice and long. Maybe 1 more, and then I place it on the thigh, and I just lift and lower, lift and lower. One more. And place it down. Good. So we can place that down again. And if your weights are on the floor like mine, make sure you bend your knees as you place the weight down on the floor. And now we're loosening those legs up. We're going to bring it forward and back. Now here again, holding the legs steady, for example, holding it here, that leg is pretty heavy. And it's going to strengthen your hip muscles here, firming those muscles, and then down. Same if we take it back, it's going to engage the glutes and we'll hold that leg back there. And that just holding the pose creates some resistance. Let's try it on the other side. It comes forward and back. And again, you can stay with this, but I want to encourage you today to build resistance. So hold that foot out in front of you, maybe for a count of 4. And you get to count. So you can count fast or you can count slow. And then we'll take it back and hold it here. And down, good. And then just walk it out side to side, just tap, let the blood flow. And then we'll come to Tall Mountain. Here in Tall Mountain, our arms are above our head again. So again, we have that resistance. We're going to add to that resistance by just using the body, but reaching up on one side, as if you're reaching for something on that top shelf. And then down, other side, reaching. And today, I want you to really try to reach higher, because we're adding to our joint and flexibility movements a little more resistance, press the foot down into the floor, pushing the lower body away from the reach. One more. And then release them down and notice how your arms have worked here today. I notice mine have. Take your fingertips to your shoulders and let's circle those elbows. And circle them back and down. And then release it. Let's take one hand up and drop it behind our back. So I'm going to turn around so you can see my hand just rests right between my shoulder blades here. And just holding it there. The upper part of the arm and the hand are stretching this muscle out here, adding that natural body weight as a resistance. Now we're going to slide it over to the shoulder and keeping the fingers on the shoulder, bring the elbow down and then slide it back up and down. Adding movement will help firm us up. And also the effort. How high can you get that elbow? And maybe you only get it a little way today, and then you come back to the video tomorrow and you get it a little further, and then a little further still. Find that growth in your own. Let's take the other hand down our back. Remember, right between the shoulder blades at first. Finding that stretch in the underside of the top arm here. Standing tall. Feet are down, touching earth, anchoring us, stabilizing us. And then we take that elbow, we slide the hand over to the shoulder, elbow up and down. Going slow, letting the fingers slide forward and then to the back of the shoulder. The fingers are very light on the shoulder here. And it's the movement that's going to add the resistance now. And then we'll bring it down and release it. Let's just swing those arms. And even here, let's separate your feet. Bounce into your knees. Our bodies are adding the resistance. Our arms are heavy. We're working through the hips and pushing into the feet. And the body works. That's why I like to include some standing practice when we practice chair yoga. I know some of us cannot do the standing parts of the videos. For most of us, though, we could do it for a little bit, and that is very helpful to our bodies. So looking toward your chair now, we're going to take the hands behind us, squeeze the shoulders. And then releasing that, bring the arms out to the side, palms forward. Bring the hands out in front of you. And then turn the palms out. Back of the hands together. We push against the air resistance and bring the hands back for that stretch. So it's forward. Turn the palms. Push back through the air and draw down. Let's do it one more time. Palms forward. When they touch, you flip them over, palms out, push back, and draw down. And then just release. And if you want, take a little moment here to roll those shoulders. And also take this moment to notice where you feel your practice today. So we're going to step back from the chair now into our down dog. And even here, our upper body now is adding a little work to the lower back. So be high or parallel to the floor, but notice the work back here. And then we're going to bend our knees, lift one heel, and then lift the other. And as you do this, you're rocking your hips side to side. This is called walking your dog. And it's a very good practice to do. You could do this one every day because it loosens up that lower back. And the lower back muscles and the core muscles connect the upper body to the lower body. And once again, building strength. Now, I'm going to separate the feet, still keeping those knees slightly bent here. I'm going to look up, and then I'm going to round my spine and draw my belly in. So this is our cat-cow movement with a lot more effort because we're standing. The effort comes from pulling that belly up away from gravity. One more. And then we release it. And then we'll take our arm out to the side, cross it over for thread the needle. Just a few of these today. And now let the upper body move, let the lower body be soft and move and follow the movement. And then let's go to the other side. Again, just releasing. This long lever called your arm is adding the resistance today. And then release it. Walk your feet towards your chair. Come to your mountain pose. And we can keep the fingertips on the chair, or we can hover them. I'm going to have mine on my hip. And what we're going to do is just lift the heels and lower. Keeping our center right up the center line of the body. Body's tall. Now, if you find this to be a little unstable, and it can be, you can lift one heel and then lift the other. It's a beginning. And then as you progress, you can lift both. When you lift both, you're working the ankles, the calf muscles, and a little bit into the core, I'm noticing. How about you? Let me know. Do you feel it in your core? I'm going to challenge you right here because remember, holding a pose can add resistance. Let's just hold those heels off the floor. And over time, you're going to notice your legs are working really hard. Toning them up, firming them up here today. One more. Exhale as you release them down. Very nice. And then once again, side of the body towards the chair. And we stand in our mountain pose. One more. So we're going to step one foot forward, the other foot back. Bend that front knee. Keep the back leg straight. Hands hover over the chair. Whatever leg's in the back, that hand's going to pull back. Brush the ribs, look over your shoulder, and then release it forward. Now today, adding a little more resistance, right? That's what we want. So today, as we pull this fist back, we're going to push this front arm forward, not the body, just the arm, just the shoulders, pulling one elbow back, other arm forward, and then we release it. Let's do it again. Keep the lower body steady. You can even keep your gaze forward here. Just make the arms work in opposite directions and release it. Hands to the chair, step it in. Let's do it on the other side. Bending into the front knee. Chest stays up. And that whatever leg's going back, that's the arm that goes back, and we can turn and look over our shoulder. Pushing that front foot strongly into the floor to steady us. And if you do feel a little unsteady, just put the other hand on the chair as you work towards this strength. But if you can today, pull back one arm and reach forward with the other, adding the resistance. Release it. Do it again. And release it. Maybe twisting a little deeper, reaching a little further, the elbow back, the hand forward, and release it. Touch the chair, step it forward. And just walk that out. That was a lot of work. Work for the legs, work for the shoulders. And now I'm going to come back into the chair as we close out our class today. Just sitting tall, or maybe rock cheek to cheek here, pushing one sit bone into the chair, then the other, and maybe you take this into a circle. And circle in the opposite direction. Opposite direction here. And then come up nice and tall. Turn your head, look over one shoulder, bring it back to center. Turn it and look over the other. Working with the body weight now, keeping the chin parallel to the floor. And then we'll tilt. And here we can use the body weight by just pushing that arm down, letting it be heavy, stretching the opposite side of the neck, and release it. Other side, just tilt. Maybe you stay here today, and then tomorrow you start adding that extra resistance of the arm pushing downward. So I do encourage you to not just watch this video once, but if you really want to build and firm up your body, save this video and come back to it every week for a little resistance work. Inhale here, bring palm to palm right in front of your heart. Pressing palm to palm, we're using our body effort here to create resistance. Bring it out, release your resistance. Now press it back in, elbows high, hands close to the heart. Remember, keep your spine long. Press real hard. Really, a lot of effort. No, I mean really, a lot of effort. And then release it. I'm trusting that you're putting the effort in. I'm trusting that you challenged yourself a little today to build resistance and firm up your body. Let's sit tall, let's sit back, close our eyes, rub our hands, hover the hands over the eyes. Nice deep breath, sigh it out. Hands back down and bow to your body for its fabulous work today. Thanks so much for joining me and working with your body's resistance to firm up today. Namaste.